Let's bring in political analyst Lori Turnbull to talk more about this. Hi, Lori. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Thanks for having me.
Now, the riding of Turnbull has been flipped by the Liberals. How do you think the other recounts could impact the seat count?
I mean, I think the big thing is, are the Liberals going to somehow see that 172 magic number reached here? And it's really interesting story in the election that so many ridings were so close. And a lot of them we were watching right down to the wee hours of the night, which I think really speaks to how competitive the election was and the strength of the two major parties, the Liberals and the Conservatives, and also the Bloc Québécois in Quebec, that it ended up being so close that there are so many recounts. But I think at this moment, when we're looking ahead to that cabinet, the presentation of the cabinet that's supposed to be happening on Tuesday, I think the big thing is, what will enough of these recounts go the Liberals' way that they hit that 172?
Is it possible that they will hit that number?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know that the recount will go the way it goes, right? Like it's not an agenda thing. It's the votes are the way they are, and they'll do the counts. And if it so happens that the Liberals hit the majority mark, well, that's the way it is. And if they don't, they don't. It's all fact based, right? There's no agenda. There's no push. It's just the votes are there or they're not. And so I think honestly, the Liberals minority is quite strong, right? Regardless if they add any more seats to the count or not. And so I don't think that there's a whole lot. I mean, everybody likes to have a majority. I don't know that there's a whole lot of stress on that side. I think they can certainly do what they want to do, whether they've got those any extra seats coming in for them or not extra, but if they see their numbers go up. I think that chances are Mark Carney plans to run the country as though he's got a majority, which prime ministers do. You have to fill the space that's there. You have to make these decisions. And the decisions before him in the time we're in are absolutely enormous. And so, the numbers are what they are. They'll deal with it.
Now, you did mention that Carney is set to unveil his cabinet picks. That's set to happen Tuesday. What are you expecting there?
Well, I think, honestly, the key is going to be Carney. He's the one that's really new, right? He's got some people who were on the ballot for the first time. People like Evan Solomon, for example, who perhaps he'll end up in cabinet. Somebody who is known to many people and clearly somebody who could be seen as a star candidate for Carney, that kind of thing. But honestly, Carney's in a very different situation than Trudeau was back in 2015 when he put together his first government. Trudeau was building up a party that had been reduced to 34 seats. And one of the ways he did it was to bring in all these big names, these big star candidates, and he had lots of room to do it because the party had so few MPs at the time. Carney's in a different situation. He came in kind of at the 11th hour. He was looking at a situation where he had very little time from when he became prime minister to when he was calling the next election. We're going to see, I think, we see a very similar team between Trudeau and Carney. The Conservatives will say, look, it's just Trudeau all over again. Yeah. I think, it'll be interesting to see who Carney brings in that's new. But for me, I'm more interested in the style of governance than I am in who he puts into the cabinet. It's always fun to speculate about who will be in cabinet. But what approach will he take? Will he have a priorities and planning committee? Will he do things in a more streamlined way? There's some speculation about his style of governance, but to me, that is going to be the key to see how he's going to go about the Trump issue, intergovernmental relations, everything else.
All right, that is our time. Lori, thank you very much for being here with us on this Sunday. That is Lori Turnbull, political analyst.